Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Designer's Studio episode. I have Dan joining me today because we're taking a closer look at the Antonov 225, part of our Ukrainian benefit lineup. And believe it or not, this thing is in micro brick battle scale, which makes sense because it is the world's heaviest aircraft. But an excellent model, and I mean, the printing alone is absolutely breathtaking. But obviously, this couldn't have been an easy thing to come together because like everything with the Ukrainian benefit, you were working against the clock.
Yeah, we had a definite, we've been pushing Wednesday release dates, and I think we actually, if I remember right, we actually might have actually delayed the release date a couple days.
To try to get it done?
Yeah, to get more done on it. It was a lot bigger project than I anticipated. I mean, it took days. I mean, there's so many printed parts on here, and each printed part has, when we, in our internal system has a number associated. We have it's a very complicated process doing printed parts. I think I remember spending an entire day just cataloging and naming all of those different parts on there, working with SLAM to get it done right. So not our average model for sure.
No kidding.
So it's big, scale wise, lots of printed parts, and then it actually does a lot of things. So.
Yeah, there's play functions, which like usually that's one of the things you have to compromise with when you're working in a micro brick metal scale, but not when it's the world's largest aircraft, heaviest aircraft.
Right. So this thing is a transporter in real life, was until recently the world's largest and heaviest cargo lifting airplane. So it does have like the opening door. It's just a hollow tube that they can drive in anything from tanks to trains to air conditioning plants and all kinds of huge heavy objects. It's also really well known for the humanitarian flights that it's done. It's taken humanitarian supplies around the world where it's needed. So it's been a goodwill ambassador for the country of Ukraine for a long time after its purpose. That it was originally purpose built to carry rocket components for the Soviet era space shuttle program. And after that program collapsed and ended, and it didn't have like a specific purpose other than let's move big things around the world. So.
Well, and obviously at that point it's already super iconic as well.
Yeah, it's famous. It was famous in its own right before, before the for the Soviet purposes, and after that it's just like it's famous around the world. Wherever this thing goes, people flock to go see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what were some of the play functions that you were excited to be able to incorporate using something that is a little bit bigger in the scale?
Well, it does do like what it's supposed to do. You can open up the nose of the aircraft opens up the way it should, so you do have the cargo access. Of course, all the flaps, the ailerons, and whatnot does what it's supposed to do. Landing gear is posable. So right now I have it sitting on its stand with the landing gear down, so it'd be landing we're landing on a runway. Of course, you can take all that off, and we'll just do that. Let's just demonstrate some of the features.
We'll see some of the swooshability of it too, because believe it or not, this is actually a pretty swooshable aircraft.
Right. This thing is built like a brick.
That's
I mean,
so cool.
it's designed to be handled. There's nothing like super weak joints about this. It has the stand. The only reason it has the stand is because it's an added play feature.
It looks great too. We're taking off.
Oh yeah. And this is just our regular aircraft stand. I just grabbed the last one we did. I think it's the stand that was also in the Ghost, and I think it was designed by Cody years ago. Hey, if it ain't broken, I ain't gonna fix it. So we'll pull that stand off here. All right, so this is totally swooshable. It's meant to be off its stand and doing its thing. So you can it's strong. It can fly. It can swoosh. Awesome. You can do all kinds of swooshy things with it, and you can hold it by its tail. It's not going to break, and you can hold it by the nose. It's not going to break. You can even hold it by the wing, and it's not going to break. Just don't hold it by the tail. Don't hold it by the elevators in the back here. Anyway, so it does roll. It's meant to roll. The wheels work on
I love that
any surface. A little hard to do on the tablecloth here, but yeah, it does steer from side to side.
That's really
just
cool.
like the real thing would. So it pivots on its main landing gear. Which, by the way, there are this many landing gear on the actual model, so the actual aircraft.
I mean, think about just the weight of the aircraft itself, and then when it's fully loaded, when it hits that tarmac. I mean, holy smokes!
And look at the. You should see the picture of this thing landing. It lands on all those about the same time. They have to gently. When you see this thing in flight, these pilots are so amazing. They bring it in like it's a toy. It's unbelievable. So if you ever get a chance. YouTube's full of videos.
Yeah,
and videos of this thing. So in real life,
that's cool.
So when they want to unload this, there's a ramp that would be right here.
Okay.
And the landing gear would fold up, and the thing would actually kneel down so that the ramp is closer to the ground and it's not as an extreme angle. So let's just pull these landing gear off here, and then we're going to put the insert. So you do get this insert that completes the fuselage, and then you have this ramp. So this is how it would look in real life. It would actually be down and you'd have your of course your nose cone be up. So you could do this. In order to get that right, you might want to prop a brick under.
Yeah, right. Just something to kind of pose it that way.
It wants to actually balance on those back wheels.
Yeah, which makes sense considering how many of them there are.
So then you can pop these guys off. Oops. And you still.
Oh, and that folds up nice and clean.
Right.
Wow.
So let's say we want to take the wheels off. You could actually have this thing posed on its stand without the landing gear.
Oh, like mid-flight.
Right.
Okay, very cool.
And they give you all the. We'll take all these the landing gear off here. And the one thing you're going to have to do is because right now it's posed with the doors open. That's what these gray things.
Oh, you got to close the doors.
The landing gear doors. Yeah. So. Bear with me while I pull all these pieces off.
And try to angle it towards the camera. Not easy to do.
We'll do it this way. I'll do it left-handed, but I'm not left-handed. And you get these extra insert pieces. So I'm going to actually have to match the one side. Apparently that's not the right side. So right now it's on its jig for printing. Let me take one of these bad boys apart.
Oh, it's still on its. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's still on its jig. It's not supposed to have that reddish brown.
It does not. This is a throwaway piece that comes. You get an extra piece. You actually get two extra brown. I think they're 2x14.
Yay, reddish brown.
Hey, it's great. And this is new reddish brown. It won't even break on
There you go.
when you look at it wrong. So
The World War I trench mocks are a thing of the past.
Right.
With the shredded reddish brown.
crumbled reddish brown. I shouldn't say that because we never know there might be an old piece of reddish brown in our
Sneaking around.
in our inventory. So here we have now the stripe is completed along the side. We can hold that up there and see it. And then you get these funky inserts that cover up the landing gear bay.
As though the bays are closed.
Right, so now your wheels are closed. So I only have one side of it on, but I think for our purposes, one side's probably good enough.
Yeah, no, that demonstrates what it would look like.
Stick it back on its stand, and look at that. No landing gear anymore. So
That's really cool.
yeah. So you can pose it in flight. The next thing you do is imagine there's a space shuttle. I have it sitting on my desk, but that'll be for another video.
Very cool.
Wow. So yeah, so there you go, the full transformation. And I also forgot to mention you get the tractor too.
Yes, you do.
This is we call this the Ukrainian parking
enforcement.
So, and there are actually little printed parts even on there. There's a printed grill, which has something that is not a deer on the grill. And we print
Jimmy Elk.
So there you have it. There's the An-225. And if we had a little more time, I'd put the rest of the tiles on. But you get all that as a free bonus. And not a free bonus, you can
It's
get all the parts.
Yeah.
Configure it the way you want it, make it look cool.
Wow. An absolutely incredible
Put little
build.
tanks in it. We didn't mention that this is actually micro brick. I guess we did mention
Yeah, I
micro
said it in
brick
the
battle
open.
scheme. So sooner or later, we will have you some micro brick battle sized tanks that we can put in here.
And we'll just have some flyovers from this every once in a while. Oh, that's really, really cool. Obviously an incredible build and an impactful one as well. Like I said, it is part of our Ukrainian benefit lineup. Still some available as well. So a really, really cool endeavor there. And obviously it ended in an excellent model. So Dan, thanks for talking through this with me. And thank you guys very much for watching.
Thank you.